We served like bread rolls and meatballs.
All right. Why do we help the homeless?
Because we set up beds because the homeless don't have homes, so we make homes for them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoy your dinner.
Since 2002, Maureen's Haven has provided shelter, support, and compassionate services to the East End's homeless. They partner with 18 houses of worship to ensure that the homeless are sheltered during the coldest months of the year. Over 1,500 volunteers are engaged in this community that has saved and enhanced hundreds of lives. This is their story.
Maureen's Haven is a reminder to those guests that come in that they are not forgotten and they're not alone in the process.
It is a pleasure and an honor to work with our guests. They're extraordinary people. They each have their own story to tell. And we as volunteers find that it really does make us feel more blessed to give than whatever we can receive.
And also it's just amazing to see a room that just has 4 walls and is empty transformed into such a warm, homey experience for them.
People have the misconception that the homeless are uneducated, they're lazy people. That's not true. I mean, we've had people with their masters who have fallen on hard times.
It's not only feeding them. It's not only feeding them physically, but it's feeding them spiritually. And there's clothes that they can look through. And we have people who cut hair, we have people who do nails, and we have people who just love to talk and interact with the homeless.
Maureen's Haven is a safe place to go when you have no place to go.
Maureen's Haven has been a lifesaver for me. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to sleep, I'm going to be out in the cold, what I'm going to eat.
It's great of the people that volunteer from the different religious groups. Without their help, everything wouldn't be possible. I get a good breakfast. By the way, the dinners are very good too, out and out delicious.
The best part about it is you can go to sleep and not worry. And not worry.
People that talk to you about you and your family. You're not just a number, you're not just a bed. They do it out of the kindness of their heart.
Maureen's Haven started in the early 2000s when there were a number of local women who noticed that there were people living in the woods and people sleeping at the train station. So they got together and they talked with some of the local pastors, and they partnered a deal that they would have volunteers bring meals to the churches if the pastors would allow the homeless guests to sleep over. We are now in our 13th year. We have now filled over 48,000 bed nights of shelter. So from very, very humble beginnings, we have come so far.
Grace and grace, and then everybody can come up to the table behind you, bring your plates. For me, is to be able to come around people that are in need and get them back on their feet, because Maureen's Haven doesn't just feed people for a day. It really gets people back on their feet and into apartments and into jobs.
I came here like 4 years ago and I spoke to someone and it's like, okay, what do you want to do for yourself? What's your goals? And I said to them that I'm addicted to drugs and I want to get help. She called a few places, she got me into a program. If you're really serious about getting your life together, this is the place to help you. It's a wonderful place, but you have to want to help yourself. There's other avenues in this facility that help you in going to school, finding housing, finding anything that's going to encourage you to do better for yourself. I didn't never think I would get my GED, but I thank God that once I got myself together, I got my GED and I also went back to school and got my food handling through a culinary arts school. So I'm very grateful for this place. It showed me that I mean something to myself and to others.
Okay.
our guests come from all walks of life, and they've all ended up in this same place we call homelessness. The East End of Long Island has an issue with truly affordable housing for those who are working but barely making ends meet. What I call the working, employed homeless.
You know, it's a godsend to have a place to go. I mean, I'm a person that works 7 days a week. I may not work a whole day, you know, I may only work 2 hours one day, you know, I still work.
Social services would no longer house me. And I stayed in a shed for 3 years in the woods. And my mental illness started becoming worse. And I remember feeling ashamed, like outcasted, no sense of humanity.
As we move forward into the future, we are looking to establish more case management so that we can have case managers following every homeless guest. By opening up our day center, we were able to provide a mailbox. For a homeless guest, not having a mailbox, it makes things very difficult to apply for any sort of assistance that may be necessary. So when I think of Maureen's Haven, I think of home.
The counselors here told me about, well, we're gonna try to get you spa housing, which is the ability to have a room safe, secure for people with disabilities, and they would only take a third of my budget. Maureen's Haven had my medical records, they had my application filled out, and they were making phone calls. And it took 6 weeks. You know, Maureen's Haven had called my cell phone and said the housing came through.
The biggest change we've seen in the last couple of years is getting as many of our guests as we can into transitional housing so that they can be out of any type of shelter program, and getting them to a place where they can successfully manage their own lives.